It's so we're live. Talk about technical difficulties. That's the first.
It always happens with meeting. It always happens.
Welcome to Chargeheads, everyone. Sorry for the delay there. We're here for another episode of Chargeheads, 8 o'clock Thursday, always talking about modified EVs, EV conversions. And today we've got a hot topic, a really hot topic, and it's about Chinese EVs. And I've got Liam Campbell on, and I tell you what, his wealth of experience when it comes to vehicles and EVs and China to a certain extent as well is a hell of a lot bigger than mine. Liam, do you want to introduce yourself and just kind of reel off what you've done in the industry?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for that, Tim. So as Tim explained, I'm Liam Campbell. I work for Innovation Automotive. We're a multi-brand EV distributor. We're the only one in the UK. So we're the appointed UK distributor for 3 different brands of Chinese electric vehicles. So we've got Ceres, which is like an affordable family brand, doing SUVs all the way from compact SUVs all the way to large executive SUVs. Then you've got Skywell, which is more of a premium all-round brand that do everything from compact hatchbacks to performance cars to 4x4s and light commercial vehicles. And then you've got DFSK, which is a light commercial vehicle only brand. Yeah, as Tim's just brought up there, that's the Ceres 3 that goes on sale this month. DFSK, as I just explained, they're a light commercial vehicle brand. And then, hopefully...
The technical difficulty. There we go.
There we go. Very briefly, we had it there. Yeah, I'll have to speak to the web developers about that. And we've got Skywell as well. So we've got 3 different brands, 3 different brands for 3 different types of markets. And I'm just literally, I am 6 weeks into the job. A lot of learning to do, but it's great fun. And like I say, hoping to make an impact on the UK pretty soon.
No, absolutely. And, I'm excited to delve a little bit deeper into these new Chinese brands that I certainly hadn't heard of until you mentioned them. But can you tell us a bit of a backstory? Now, myself and Liam used to work together, if people didn't know, for Vital EV. And Vital EV the Dream Team, absolutely, is all about, EV solutions. But before that, you were heavily involved in other vehicles, mainly commercial vehicle. Can you tell me, and obviously Bauer Media, can you tell people a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm conscious about not going too much into it because a lot of people will be falling asleep after 2 minutes of this. So very briefly, I graduated from Coventry University with a master's degree in automotive journalism. And then I went to work for Top Gear magazine in South Africa for 12 months. That was probably the best 12 months of my life. It went like a blur. And then I did a complete culture shock. I went to London after a truck magazine called Commercial Motor.
Yep.
So yeah, as you can imagine, Top Gear in South Africa to writing about trucks in London, complete culture shift, but equally as exciting. And then I did that for a couple of years, and then I went to work for Bauer Media. You're absolutely right, for Parker's. I set up the van section in 2013. Parker, yeah, and I can still see you wincing as well, Tim, when I say Parker's, because that's a swear word.
I have a few stories about Parker's Guide because being in the motor trade, many stories of when someone used to give someone a part exchange price, everyone would get the Parker's Guide out, and Parker's Guide is that, it's a guide. I remember stories of
it's not the gospel.
No, they don't buy cars. So I remember hearing stories of, salespeople taking the Parker's Guide and say the best thing to do with the Parker's Guide is put it in the bin. But no, as a young lad, I used Parker's Guide to look at insurance groups when I wanted to work out what was the fastest car I could get at 17.
Yeah. Oh no, it had so many uses, but absolutely. Oh, yeah, sure. That's not the first time I've been told to put Parker's in the bin. So we set up the van section for that in 2013, and then did that for a couple of years, and then went self-employed. just working as a consultant for the automotive industry to varying success. But one of the most exciting things was I was working with a lot of Chinese manufacturers, and I was going to, I first went to China to Auto Shanghai in 2014. And then just seeing the rate of change and the complete new aspect on a completely different aspect and perspective of the automotive industry. They were looking at it a completely different way. And it wasn't long before I realized these guys are going to take over sometime soon. So I did that. And then just before lockdown, I started working for Isuzu, Japanese commercial vehicle and 4x4 brand as a UK product manager. And then I had a very brief stint, which wasn't great experience for Morris Commercial. Yeah, so
yes.
Just someone's put in the black book.
Yes. I've got to find for everybody. Now, Morris Commercial is a really interesting company. Tell us about your time with Morris Commercial, Liam.
Well, that was interesting because I was I was offered some very luxurious, what I was called luxurious accommodation, and it turns out to be pretty much little more than a shipping container on site.
Well, you know, that is luxurious for a lot of people. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. So that I think I spent about, I think the first week I rang Paul Kirby, who's quite an industry, he's quite renowned in the commercial vehicle industry, and I just sent out an SOS call to him and just said, look, I need a bit of change. I've made a big mistake here coming here. The products. When I was working there, they told me that the product would be there later that year. Yeah. This was 2021. It's 2024 now, and they're still saying it's going to be at least 18 months, 2 years away.
The last media I saw,
it's a great product.
Yeah. The last thing I saw was seen it at probably some of the electric shows, and Johnny Smith, I think, had it on his channel as well.
He did. Yeah. That's why I was there, actually. Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. And Guy Martin had it as well.
Did he?
Yeah,
so probably doing some crazy moves in it. But now you're obviously, then you had your stint at Vital EV with me and the rest of the crew.
Absolutely, that really, really good time at Vital EV. Where, you know, and that's just because I was working with you, Tim. It's a fantastic time.
What can I say? What can I say, people? Not many people get the pleasure. Now you're very much in the Chinese manufacturer world, and what I wanted to explore with the rest of the people tuning in and the Chargeheads was really to kind of have a chat about, you know, do we see the whole of the UK adopting, you know, and you as well, Dean. You as well, Dean. Of course, yes. Thanks for tuning in.
Can't forget Dean.
I mean, what I want to explore, you know, is the UK going to fully adopt Chinese electric cars like they've adopted every other Chinese product? Although we don't think about it every day, you know, whether it's an iPhone, whether it's, you know, any electrical goods. Although in the 80s, 90s, probably 70s, probably before my time, you know, we used to adopt a lot of Japanese equipment, a lot of Japanese tech, and now it's all coming out of China. But when you were over in China, Liam, when was the last time you were over there?
It was before lockdown, so 2019.
Yeah, and in 2019, bearing in mind that was 5 years ago, what was the kind of transport like over there when at the time? Was there much electric adoption going on at that time?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, you'd walk around the city streets of Shanghai, you just see electric vehicles everywhere. There was a real heavy push in 2019 for EV registrations, and I think I remember that they'd got they'd sold more electric vehicles that year than the rest of the world combined. I think in 2019, manufactured or something. So it was just on a different scale. They'd done but that was the start of the big push. That 2019.
And what I've heard is that, you know, I think they have slimmed down recently, but they had something like over 200 electric vehicle manufacturers in China.
Yeah, there's going to be some consolidation. It's just ridiculous. And as you've seen, you know, if they're coming over it's like a big tidal wave that's coming over. Now, you know, there's so much, but like you say, I can see a lot of those. There being a lot of market consolidation with a lot of those manufacturers because, like I say, 200 is just it's unsustainable to have those all running as independent brands and operations.
Well, I did find a fact that over half of the electric cars worldwide are Chinese brands or Chinese made.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. The I hate this pun, but they're leading the charge on that. I don't know if I told you about this, Tim, but if you ever read a report, there's a report called Made in China 2025, which was a strategic blueprint set out by the People's Republic of China in 2008. And it looked at all the different sectors, like everything from, you know, like televisions to washing machines to like the automotive industry. And what it set out, it said, is this market going to grow, first of all? And if it is, what do we do to be the global leader in that? And they looked at like petrol cars and they said, right, okay, the growth of petrol cars between now and 2025, which is 17 years, we estimate it's going to grow at, you know, 10% or something like that, whatever it is. And like, oh, that's significant. But at the end of the day, the Americans, the Japanese and the Europeans have got a good hold on that market. What about diesel cars? Again, the same, about 10% growth, something like that. And the Europeans, in particular, have got the dominance on that. What about electric vehicles? Well, actually, we see a lot of legislation coming in for climate change and city air pollution and stuff like that. We see electric vehicles growing absolutely phenomenally over the next 17 years. Okay, so what do we need to do to dominate in that market? And they work strategically. So they'll set a state-owned battery manufacturer up. They'll set up state-owned mining companies up like Gongfeng and Tianqi. And overnight, they went from nothing to becoming some of the world's largest mining companies to buy up all the lithium mines in Chile and Australia, which are the two world's largest producers of lithium. And yeah, like I say, so and then they set up BYD and CATL and all these other battery manufacturers because at the time the South Koreans had the domination on with Samsung and LG Chem. They dominated the battery market. Overnight, they dominated that market, and because they're all obviously most of these are state-owned companies, they own every part of the supply chain to make everything mass produced and cheaper, and like I say, all promoting China.
And that's
they're all arms. Yeah, they're all arms of the same. You know, they're all cogs in the same machine.
Yeah, and this is the thing. I mean, you know, it's what it comes down to is price. You know, we're currently in a recession. You could argue it's a global recession at the moment, and it's just you want to be able to buy what you need or want, and you need to buy at a certain price. It needs to be affordable, and the Chinese 100%. Have certainly, you know, been hitting the mark with everything, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Perfect example of that is the MG4.
Yeah,
you know,
the
MG4. You see how many are on the roads. I mean, you see a hell of a lot of Teslas, but you see a lot of MG4s. They started, what, 26, 27 grand for the basic one. Yeah. And there was no one competing for that level of tech, size of car, range, all the other factors that make a good electric car. I mean, the tech was a little bit, glitchy apparently, but yeah, it ticked a lot of boxes. And ironically,
they'll get over that as well.
Say again?
They'll get over that as well. Like you said, there'll be glitches at the start. I remember they saying as well when the Japanese first came over, they were seen as a bit of a mystery brand and like with a few errors. But second generation, they overcome that, and it's everything's just as good as quality as the household names.
Yeah, I mean, I swear by Japanese cars from sort of late 80s and 90s, and I'm a massive JDM, Japanese domestic market car fan. Although I wouldn't touch their electric cars with a barge pole,
No,
I mean, the Nissan Leaf was okay for its first generation, but all the other ones, they're way behind, anything else that's out there. And I think most people know that anyway. China is the new Japan in the new world.
Yeah,
But yeah, to buy an MG4, I nearly bought one on lease because it was the best car for the money.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean,
yeah,
just goes to
absolutely.
show.
And,
Just
and
goes
like
to
I
show.
say, because they're all components of the same machine, like these Chinese mining companies are the same as the like they're all working together. And like I say,
Yeah,
they will supply Western manufacturers, but they'll supply it at a premium. They won't supply it at the same price as what they're supplying to the other state-owned further up the supply chain.
Mm,
So the battery companies like KTEL, they will sell to Western brands, but they'll sell it at more expensive than what they'll sell to the Chinese-owned brands.
yeah.
So you're always going to have that price advantage with the Chinese EVs.
Well, no, you mentioned price, and we keep hearing whether it's on the Fully Charged show and lots of other media's or platforms. Sorry, that in China, electric cars are so cheap.
They are.
What do you know? What the costs? How come they cost so much when they come to us? Is it just to make sure that they're just trying to maximize profits? Is it the import taxes? What's the situation there?
To be honest, Tim, I'm not quite too I'm not too sure on that. I have heard though that they're doing it because they don't want to disrupt the market too much in Europe. Because
Right.
because I remember when the Maxus EV90 came in, and
Yeah.
they were saying we can
Are you,
either
sorry, are you talking about the pickup or are you talking about the van?
sorry the EV90
Yep.
the large panel van. I think it's
Yep. Got it.
sorry. It was renamed shortly after as the E-Deliver 9. When they brought
Right.
that in as an all-electric vehicle, they were toying with how much do we sell this to Europe for, because we could really sweep up on the market, or and like I said, really go small on the profit margins and sweep up, or we can just price it just below the Europeans and sweep up that way, because at the end of the day, it's still going to be the cheapest. So
Yeah.
um, we either be the cheapest and make decent profit and hold our margins, kind of thing, or we go really low and completely destroy the market. But I think what they've done is they're literally they're keeping it just below the Europeans, and as the Europeans come down, they'll drop their prices as well.
Got ya. Got ya. Just keep.
Did you ever see that? Did you ever see that graph as well? There was something circulating on LinkedIn about 12 months ago, which showed the profit margins, how much each manufacturer is making per electric vehicle. And the Europeans and Americans, I think Ford was actually losing money on every electric vehicle that they sold. Tesla were making a chunky, healthy profit, but all the Chinese were making massive amounts of on profit on each EV sale.
I'll see if I can find it actually.
Yeah, it's around that. You can find it. I saw it on LinkedIn quite recently as well.
No, market share, Tesla profit margins. No, just I can only find market shares at the moment, but I'll have to dig that one up and share it. But yeah, it's a bit like Tesla. We all hear that Tesla have got a really strong.
Hang on, I think
profit.
I've got it here.
You got it.
Is it? Is this it?
Let's see if.
Yeah, I've got it here, mate. Can I share my screen?
You can share away, mate. Crack on. I've never had a guest share before. This is new, Liam. Will it
I'll
work?
show you how it's done.
And I do apologise, everyone, for the slow start. What we got
That
here?
was my
Fluffy
fault, I
Gamer.
think.
While you're doing that, Fluffy Gaming has asked. Hi, I was at the EV festival. Ah, yes. How are we doing, buddy? You're right. Thanks for joining on. We're talking about Chinese EVs. So yeah, we're trying to improve our knowledge of what's going to happen in the market, basically. But thanks for joining in. Yeah, have you got it there, mate?
Yeah, is that showing there?
It's not,
no,
mate.
sorry, 1 second. 1 second. Sure. So if you look at that, Tesla are actually losing money.
You scroll up.
Sorry, Ford are losing money.
Yeah.
This is EV. You look at BYD. They're making huge profit on their EVs. There was another one as well that
GM. I mean, that don't really make sense. I mean, what have they got? They've got the Bolt. They've got the Hummer, which they've made probably about 5 of.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's because they're selling low volumes, but what they're selling is very, very premium products, EV products, and that's where they're making their margins. But like I say, GM are not a volume EV manufacturer.
No,
Like
not at the moment.
in the same way that a lot of the Western brands are.
So yeah. Sorry.
But yeah, no, it's really interesting the way it's going. I'll tell you what I've really found interesting since, like, obviously I first went to the Auto Shanghai 10 years ago, was the fact that at the time the European brands, even at Auto Shanghai, was taking center stage. They were front and center, and the Chinese brands like BYD, Chery, Great Wall, they were on the fringes, and now it's the opposite way around. The Chinese now are becoming very confident in their ability to manufacture now, and they're taking pride and place at these shows. And
yeah, it does.
The
I think
Europeans are now
there's a
being
massive.
pushed to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there has been a massive push. Well, it's almost a removal of European brands, isn't it?
It's a massive culture shift.
Yeah, no,
And the
definitely.
other thing, I don't know if you remember this as well, Tim. At quite a lot of the major European shows 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you used to have loads of Chinese engineers literally crawling under the machines, taking pictures of suspension arms, the chassis, everything. You never see that anymore because the Chinese, they've taken everything they can. They've stolen all that IP, that intellectual property, and now they're taking it to the next level as well. They're developing it themselves, and the Chinese.
Well, not only that, because the European brands had to give up their. They had to give up at least sort of 40-50% of their. Was it all the knowledge?
That's it. To manufacture in China, you can't. A foreign power cannot have a majority share. You have to get in bed with a local manufacturer, and it was the same with phones as well. Like my phone now is wherever it is, there it is. It's called Redmi. They used to manufacture. They used to be the local manufacturer for Samsung, and all they've done is they've just been looking at all this tech and everything, and been building these phones, assembling these phones for Samsung, and just thinking, do you know what? Instead of like selling it for so much, why don't we just build our own brand and sell it for and get 100% of it?
Yeah, I mean, this is a video that I pulled up from the Beijing Auto Show that happened very recently. I mean, look at those cars. I mean, that's a sexy looking car.
Yeah. They're actually a tech brand. They're actually a tech brand, Xiaomi.
Yeah. See, I think I'm a bit of a car pervert. Is probably not the best.
No, you are a car pervert, Tim.
I am, but when it comes to Chinese cars, I mean, like Chery and things like that, I need to get up to speed because you need to update your knowledge. Otherwise, you really are going to be behind the times. Because you look at the tech that are on these Chinese cars, which is obviously more affordable, so they can really pack it in. It's like the analogy that we used earlier about the Japanese cars that, I had a D-Reg 1987 Mitsubishi Colt that had electric windows, electric sunroof, electric mirrors. It's like 87. I mean, you'd be lucky to get electric anything in a British or European car back then. But it really is the change that I think a lot of people don't realize. I think a lot of the people that, dare I say it, Luddite's probably not the right word, but are very against the electric revolution, scared. I think scared.
Yeah,
worried,
absolutely.
But go to an electric show, go to a car show, the biggest car show in the world right now. I don't know if anyone could argue this is definitely that show right now, or was.
100%. Either Beijing or Shanghai, either one of those two. They're taking. Whereas, like, 10 years ago, it was all about LA, it was all about the IAA, it was all about those kind of shows. This is now the most exciting show. These two, Auto Shanghai and Beijing Auto, they are the two most exciting shows for automotive. And
When you got
CES as well.
When you got a ticket for next year, Liam, let me know.
Yeah, should we go?
It's got to be done, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we do. I think we do this live from Auto Shanghai next year.
There we go. Shall we do a GoFundMe page? If anyone's up for me doing a GoFundMe page, whack it in the comments. If you want Chargeheads direct content from Beijing or Shanghai next year, then let's get it going on. Because I'll be well up for that. I'll even improve my 3 things that I know in Chinese.
What do you know?
Ciao, Tim, and all that. So,
ciao.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so we talked about a lot of the positives, but there's a lot of people putting negatives. I'm not taking a side. I'm sitting on the fence here a little bit. Dare I say it? I will say that I drove an MG4 X Power recently at an EV show, and my God, yes, everyone's right. It's fast as you like. I did a brake test in that car. Oh wow, that thing does not stop properly. It's got bright orange massive caliper covers to probably hide the not so great
the
brake
sponges.
Yeah, it worried me. I mean, yeah, but a lot of the negatives in the press at the moment are things like EVs building up at the ports. I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Liam?
My thoughts are that there's a few things going on here. I think obviously I don't think because we had a bit of a lull in EV sales. Well, we've had a bit of a lull over the last 12 months. If not, it's plateaued a bit, and I think that's caught quite a few manufacturers by surprise. I think there's a couple of manufacturers. I don't know if I should name. Well, Great Wall, for example, I know that from speaking from quite a few dealers that they were expecting massive numbers in terms of sales. That they've brought loads over, and then actually they're not quite selling quite as well as they thought. Yeah, and also as well, there's something else that we personally have been experiencing at Innovation Automotive is the fact that there's a big problem now with the shipping times because of all the issues with the like getting through the Suez Canal route. I think it's the Red Sea with the Houthi rebels and everything like that. And I'll use an analogy you'll like, Tim. When you go to when you're in a really busy pub and you go to the bar and you think to yourself, do you know what? It's going to be another half an hour before I can get back to this bar. I'll buy 2 pints instead of 1 pint. Yeah, so that's what they're doing. I think quite a lot of manufacturers are buying quite a few because they think, it could be a while before we get our next shipment in. We'll just place another order now. And I think but also as well, storage fees aren't that expensive in this country either. Surprisingly, so it's not the end of the world if they stay there, for a bit longer than anticipated.
I mean, the argument would be, increase the storage costs if they can. It could actually re-kickstart because it was going great guns, the EV transition, but things have slowed a bit, probably due to 40-50% of the country not having access to home AC charging, which is much cheaper, making it more affordable. But yeah, I think it would certainly help if there was some serious cost cutting. I think that's going to happen. I mean, what's your thought on the cost? Do you think that will happen?
Well, I think mainly as well, Tim, it's to do with the price of electricity as well. I know this for a fact as well in the electric van market. Quite a few supermarkets and big delivery companies cancelled their orders for electric vehicles because of the price of electric, and they just couldn't work on the total cost of ownership. It completely swayed, and they went back to diesel instead.
Yeah.
So I think we need to find a way of the energy price cap helped, but lower. It's the running costs as well that are because we're almost getting towards parity now with I mean, I don't mean to be a sales advocate, but we launched the first EV electric SUV under £30,000. Well, that's coming out this month. The Ceres 3. That's the only.
Let's find that so we make it nice and relevant. So it's the Ceres 3. It was the Ceres 3, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Ceres 3. Yeah, that's it.
There we go. Yes, is that the one that I sat in recently?
It was indeed. Yeah,
I was actually really impressed with that.
Yeah, it is a really the fit and finish. Like the Chinese cars of 10 years. Like a lot of people are put off by certainly in the pickup market by the Great Wall Steed, which was a pickup from 5-10 years ago. That was awful fit and finish. They're getting really, really good at the engineering and the finishing nowadays. So yeah, no, it's like I say, the price is now about 20. It's about 20%, 30% different now. Yeah, so yeah, the prices still need to come down, but for me, mainly it's it's electricity costs that have doubled or tripled over the last 2 or 3 years.
No, absolutely, and this is why I actually put my Tesla up for sale, because I knew that the prices were going to go up, and I knew that the used car market was going to get absolutely whacked, and I nearly sold it, and I would have saved myself a load of money and then got back into the electric market to get a performance car. And in hindsight, I should have done that, but the other half was a bit annoyed with me, kept on swapping cars around. But you live and you learn, and Rusty so far, fingers crossed, has looked after me. 101,000 miles, still going strong.
That is unbelievable. That is brilliant. Have you been into the Tesla owner groups and worked out like how and seen what the most mileage Tesla 3s?
Yeah, 200 and I think my friend owns it, and it's done 225,000 miles, no new batteries. Wow. There's one in America that's done 300,000 without any batteries, etc. There we go. I heard a rumor from some posties in Bristol that they were going back to diesel on a lot of their vans due to the cost of public charging. This is the frustration you see, because I'm paying 9.5p per kilowatt hour overnight. It's, if I can do it, why can't we try and get the government involved to do it? In other places, can't we? There must be a solution here. But we're off topic here. That's certainly another conversation. But focusing back on the Chinese side of things. So yeah, this is the Ceres 3. I mean, as you can see there, under £30,000. And is that a standard interior on that one?
No, so it's not far off though, to be honest. Even on the standard 29,995 one, you've still got leather seats, you've still got a 10-inch touchscreen display, you've still got the all the steering controls and all that kind of stuff, air conditioning, all that. The 18-inch alloy wheels, that's the standard on the 29,995. There's actually not that much difference between the two, so it's great value for money.
So something that was we're talking about cheap cars, and we've got the Dacia Spring, which obviously Dacia, Renault sub brand, if you like, and that looks like a real bit of competition for the Chinese cars, which will hopefully bring the Chinese electric car prices down. But knowing what the safety rating of that car is, that was pretty scary. Do you know what the Chinese cars? I'm not talking specifically about the ones that you've got in front of us now, but do you know how they compare to the sort of Dacia brand? Are they similar sort of thing, or?
Honestly, they're not quite as good. That's something that the Europeans still absolutely a country mile ahead of the Chinese in terms of safety. Like for example, with the BE11 from Skywell, we were offered that without any ADAS, advanced driver assist systems. And we were
because the NCAP's quite rigorous on that now, that you have to have these nanny state type of controls, whereas I'm paying premium to get rid of them. My electric TVR. That's just the crazy way I am. But Dean's put a really good thing in here, actually. I find it hard to understand how BYD has come to the UK market and pricing themselves at the top end level, absolutely, yeah, should have come into the market like Hyundai, Kia in the 90s and priced it lower. I completely agree, because, you know, you look at the BYD Seal, I think it is, compared to the Tesla Model 3, it's not really that much difference in price.
No, absolutely. So BYD, so I was looking at the Atto. We were doing some
Atos
price
3,
comparisons.
Yeah.
And it was, I think it was 37,000 for a mid-size or compact SUV, which was just ridiculous. And I think, like you say, they benchmarked themselves against Tesla, and you can't do that when you're supposed to be a disruptor. It's a lot of it, as much, I work in marketing. As much as I try and say, we've got really great products, we've got premium, and sell on product. A lot of it does come down to price. And if you're new to the market, you're a newcomer, you're a disruptor, you've got to lead with a price, and they can afford to do that. They can afford to go lower. They've taken a decision to hold their margins quite high.
It seems like they've ticked so many boxes. They've got the styling right. They've got the tech right. They've got all these elements. So much, so much.
Great batteries as well. Like one of the top 3 battery producers in the world now. BYD.
And I mean, to be fair, the Seal versus the Tesla long range, the BYD's a LFP battery, but I mean the Seal's only got 150 kilowatt top max DC charging versus the Tesla's 250. But still, it seems like they've got everything right, but the pricing they've just let's just put that on. They've not been as strategic with that, in my opinion.
No, exactly. And you're absolutely right. We when we were doing the pricing, we completely disregarded BYD because we thought it's just that is a lot of money. And to reply to Family Homestead, it's not. No, it's the actual distributor for the UK, which I think is a joint collaboration between International Motors, based in Solihull, and BYD themselves. They're holding the margins. The dealer margin is it'll only be, it was quite negligible. I think it's about 1,500, £2,000, something like that.
No, it's ultimately, I think if they were less expensive, more affordable, I think we'd be seeing the MG4 is the perfect example. They did get it right there, 100%. And there's the proof in the pudding, really. So yeah, I mean, what do you see the future being, Liam, in terms of the Chinese? Do you think that by this time next year, we'll see a lot more Chinese brands? Are we going to see a lot more Chinese EVs on the road?
Yeah, I do for sure. I particularly see them making a big indent on the budget side of the market, the cheaper side of the I think the premium end of the market, whether it's EV or whatever kind of propulsion, it's always going to be dominated by the high end European brands. But I think what will happen as well is I think we'll see if the Chinese make too much of an indent on the market and really start to threaten European manufacturers, I can see the European Union and the UK start to impose bigger restrictions. I think mainly Europe has got, because our car manufacturing in this country is primarily aimed at the higher market now, especially since Honda have gone now. Obviously we still have Nissan and like the biggest plant in the UK in the northeast.
Since Honda have gone.
So is it Honda that have gone?
Mitsubishi.
Mitsubishi have gone, but Honda have, I think, stopped. Mitsubishi didn't manufacture in this country. Just one second.
Oh, sorry, in the UK, yeah. I thought Honda.
Swindon.
Oh no, yeah, of course, because they've gone for one model for the whole of the world now. Okay,
that's it. Yeah. Actually, physically manufacturing in this country. Honda's, just one sec. Honda Swindon. Honda used to have a big manufacturing plant in Swindon, but it was closed down in, I think it's like in the last. It wasn't too long ago.
My dog's just got into something. Carry on, William. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, sorry. So because because the European market is very, like, the European manufacturers are obviously feeling they're sweating because of what's happening with the Chinese manufacturers coming over. I think they're going to start to impose a lot of tariffs. I think in the UK, obviously we have less to worry about because our car manufacturer is heavily tailored towards the premium end of the market.
Yeah. Ours is more kind of coach building. I mean, I think I can't remember who told me or who said it to me recently. It's like the British, we make fantastic products, we make amazing things. We just don't know how to scale it. And when
absolutely,
it's scale. I mean, you look at all the prestige stuff; it does fantastically well. I mean, and there are some great examples of niche EV brands out there, and like the EV conversion market. Which
absolutely,
heavily involved in, heavily nerded out by. The fact that we've got the best EV converters in the world in terms of what they produce, which is great. So
we're a cottage industry country. Like, we like our little bespoke niche projects.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I even think that likes of Range Rover, Jaguar, Aston Martin, they're not really going to feel too much of a threat from the Chinese, because their sites, it's the likes of Renault, Fiat, Citroen, Peugeot, who are going to feel the biggest threat from.
Even I think Stellantis were. Well, I can't remember. They were saying something in the press recently. Stellantis are your Fiat, Jeep, Alpha. God, there's Citroen, so many, aren't there? Citroen, Peugeot, Vauxhall. They're saying something. Yeah, it seems like, I don't know if you agree, Liam, but all of the European manufacturers have seemed to have kind of gone, okay, let's go to hybrid. It does, for me, feel like a very short-term thing, and they're going to miss out on the long term.
Absolutely. They're going to plow all that money into developing a stepping stone rather than going straight to the end product. But as I said, it's really hard for European brands to buy good quality batteries and good quality. That's the new guy, is it?
She's a bit bigger now. She's running around with all the plastic in her mouth. This is Rebel, by the way. She used to be cute about 4 months ago, but
she's still cute. She's really cute.
She has her moments. We'll have to get her Chargehead branding on her soon.
Definitely, you get those doggy bandanas that you can custom make them.
That's it. Well, Moggy from Electric Classic Cars has got a lovely dog. Oh, I can't remember, Spud, and he's got a jumper with Electric Classic Cars emblem on it.
Nice.
So I think Rebel. This is Rebel, by the way. She's going to have to get a Chargeheads emblem or something like that going on.
Definitely.
She's a bit of a pig. Thank you. So what do you think in the next, let's say, 5 years' time, what do you think are going to be the big, first of all, let's say start with the big Chinese brands. What do you think are going to be the big three from China?
Oh, crystal ball stuff, this. I think the ones that have made the moves, I think it's a progression thing. So the ones that have come over first, they're the ones that are going to be. They're going to be. Well, I tell you what, the best way to look at this, I think, is looking at the Chinese, the top 5 sellers in China at the moment. Ceres have just entered the top 5 manufacturers in China.
Oh, really? Okay.
From pretty much a standing start 5 years ago. So I'm not saying that with my Innovation Automotive hat on. I genuinely do believe that you're going to see the ones that sell really well in China are going to sell really well here. I think there's going to be a lot of that once you get the distribution and that sorted out. Also, as well, there's going to be the likes of MG have got a very well-established dealer network as well at the moment. So MG is going to be...
SEAT, what are the brands? And they've got the MG Roadster coming out. I must admit, that car really annoys me because for the same money me converting the TV, I could have bought an MG Speedster. But
it
won't be the same as a broken-looking TVR with a Tesla motor in it. So yeah. And what's your thoughts on the MG Roadster, Liam?
I think it looks absolutely brilliant. I think they needed to do it earlier as well to keep, because when they first relaunched the MG brand, I thought there was a bit of like it felt like it wasn't quite a seamless change, was it? Because MG was traditionally very sports car orientated, and then they came with that very mundane looking saloon, the
MG5.
Yeah, MG5.
What, the estate?
Yeah. No, but I mean, even before that petrol version, I think they had an MG60.
Yeah, I know the one you mean. Yeah,
and it wasn't really fitting with that brand's heritage. If they came with something like that, because if you remember when they first came out, they said they were going to do a remake of the MG B.
Right.
Do you remember that?
I don't think the Roadster. What is it? The Speedster or the Roadster? I can't remember now.
Speedster or
One of them.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it does look impressive, and the performance. Cyberster. Okay, yeah. Because I think it's pretty much available now. The two, yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah,
so, okay,
I think if you launched something like that a bit earlier, it would have felt like a bit more of a seamless change from the old MG to the new MG, whereas they kind of like drifted off for a bit, and now they're bringing it back. But hopefully that'll resonate with quite a lot of the old traditional MG fans.
So we got off topic. What 3 brands? I think for me it's going to be BYD, MG with SEAT and whatever SEAT can bring to the party, and say again,
Ceres.
Of course, Ceres, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be Ceres. But no, okay. If we were to do a top 5, I'd say Cherry are going to be in there as well. Cherry, huge.
All right. I need to clue up a bit more on Cherry because I don't know too much about them. Family Homestead has put Aptera ?
Aptera. Was that to do with what we were talking about before with the Vauxhall? No.
Is that the flying
no. Hang on. Sorry, there's something here actually.
That's the flying car, isn't it? Oh no, it's the solar car.
3 delivered solar power cars with gold exterior and cooling cabin in UAE. See, I've not heard of this brand.
No, and this is it. There's so many brands out there.
Yeah,
it's really difficult to
really cool,
keep up to speed with it. But I mean, I genuinely think that China are going to start dominating if they get the price right, like they did with the MG4. It all depends on whether, and I don't, you're probably not going to get into this or probably got the detail, Liam, but unless like the European market or the UK market start putting extra taxes on cars.
As I said, I think if there's anyone going to put taxes on Chinese cars, it's going to be the European Union because they've got the most to threat. Whereas most of our budget cars in the UK that we buy in the UK are manufactured overseas anyway. We buy them in from Europe, from America.
Yeah. You could argue the US is probably going to do that as well because they've got a big focus on.
Well, they already do it. It's the Chinese have hardly made a dent on the American market.
Anybody that's watching at the moment, make sure you give it a like while you're watching and whack a comment in there as well. Family Homestead, they are very Tesla-esque and have a great fan base. Carbon fiber composite cockpit. That's the 3-wheel solar car. Yeah, that was the one that I found earlier then.
Yeah, I just Googled it. It's really
let me just put it up on the screen,
isn't it?
Yeah, it does look cool. It's not that, although that's very cool, Liam.
You see that? Can you see what I'm doing?
I can't.
Oh, no.
Here we go. I've got it. Here she is. Can you see that?
Yeah, that's it.
That is pretty cool. Driven by the sun. Imagine rolling up, to Tesco's in that. I mean, you're not going to put much Tesco shopping. Oh, I don't know. Actually,
but I tell you what, you'll be getting quite a few miles per kilowatt hour on that as well.
You will be. I mean, it's a funky looking thing, isn't it?
It reminds me of that. Do you remember that car that the Sinclair?
Oh, the Sinclair. No, I was thinking more, the electric car that was unveiled, which was from like Slovakia or something. Weird looking thing. And it was unveiled a couple of years ago at the Everything Electric show. You know what?
Yeah.
I've got a sticker and a picture of it in my garage, and I can't remember what it is. I'm going to take a picture and put it out there in the socials. But yeah, I know that we finished late. But has anyone got any? Oh, look at that! I can believe it's 4 times more efficient than the Tesla
Yeah.
Model
So
3.
what are you getting to about? You must be getting about 16 miles per kilowatt hour then, or something. That is ridiculous.
I was getting 4 miles per kilowatt today, and I was still driving 70-ish miles an hour. So
you'll be
this
interested
is
in this, Tim. I've just picked up my new company car today.
okay. Go on then. Share the detail. I'm guessing it's from the new Chinese selection, right?
It is indeed. Just 1 second.
Oh. If anyone's got any questions, I think I'm going to wrap this up shortly. I know we've started late, but yeah, any questions about the Chinese market for Liam, please, or for his brand?
So there goes the Ceres. That's the old one, the Ceres. So that's the outgoing one. And then how cool is this for a key?
That's I'd probably lose that.
Yeah, I know. But you know what I'm like. This will be gone within a couple of days.
I
This
was
will be
going to
gone
say, you might as well.
by bank holiday Monday. This will be gone.
I was going to say you need to super glue that to your arm, mate. But yeah, no, just to wrap things up, it's been great. I'm sorry that we were a late starting. Liam, thank you so much for being on today. I've certainly learned a few things about the Chinese EV market. I hope everyone's enjoyed this session. And just to remind people, yesterday I put out a video about the EV festival. The EV festival, unfortunately, was cancelled. We ended up there anyway because we were only 5 minutes away, and we managed to get a few videos off. Did some video coverage of what was there. A cool little EV converted Fiat 500 bigger brother from the 1970s. Tesla Model 3 with massive carbon body kit on air, and also Moggy with his twin Tesla motored bug zapper. So that was a really, it was a sad day, but it was a great video in the end, because that little EV conversion, when it turned up, it just encouraged me to get the camera out, and something positive was taken from that in the end. In terms of who we've got on next week, we've actually got a very interesting guest on next week. It's Barnaby from EV Converts, which is a very much up and coming EV conversion company. They've got a classic Range Rover Tesla powered conversion. They've got Defender EV conversions as well. So I'm really interested to dive into the stuff that they're doing. They do a lot of conversion kits from Felton. So it'd be interesting to see Barnaby. He's a real character as well. So that'll be really interesting. But thanks once again, Liam. Thank you very much for giving us some time today, and hopefully we'll see what happens with the Ceres brand. But is there anything else you want to leave us with in terms of your brand and what we're going to be seeing from you guys?
Yeah, like I said, so I'd say Google the Skyhome. Definitely have a look at that. That's quite.
What's it called? Sorry, the Skyhawk.
Skyhome.
You'll have to pronounce it better, mate, because I'm from the south.
Yeah, Skyhome.
Home. Skyhome EV, yeah? Okay. Wow, that looks pretty cool, actually. Let's check. Let me put this on the screen for everyone. So tell us a little bit about the Skyhome before we sign off then.
So there's very few, in terms of information on it, there's very little out there at the moment, but they're trying to get a 400-mile range on that.
Wow.
It's absolutely unbelievable. It's got a full width LCD screen that runs the full width of the cockpit.
Oh wow! Look at that.
Dashboard. Yep.
That is.
It's got like what do they call it? Like an aviator style steering wheel.
Right.
And it recently won a German IF design award.
Suicide doors.
Yeah, that's it. Suicide doors at the back.
Mate, you have me at suicide doors.
Yeah. It won't be called that in the brochure. They will call them clamshells.
Or something. Yeah, something that you would like to make up that sounds a bit less.
Deathy.
Suicidal. Yeah. Wow, that can't be the screen in the back.
Well, on the prototype, that is, yeah.
Wowzers. Lermanek, mate. Yeah, I can't wait to see more of that. So,
Yeah.
okay, where does everyone go to find out more about the brands from Innovation?
So you go to innovation-automotive.co.uk. We'll be putting some more information on there later this month, and also as well at the end of this month at the Everything Electric show, Rob Llewellyn will be unveiling our all new large SUV from Skywell.
Perfect. Thank you, Liam. Thanks everyone for watching. Please give us a like on the video. If you've only just joined us late, get back and watch the rest of it. And thanks everyone for watching once again. And we'll see you next week with Barnaby from Fuel Converts. Cheers again, Liam. Thanks, mate.
Everyone. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
Good night.